If you guys feel like chasing issues around a 6.1 liter Hemi motor, feel free to tag along for this episode. Welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of Project Hemi Mag. Honestly, I didn't think this project was going to last this long, but we are now officially in the heat of chasing down issues. And it's getting a little long-winded. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. You know, I've been working on the gallants, some other things, but this Hemi, I've constantly been working on some issues. I can't remember the last thing we did, honestly. I think I replaced, I don't know. I don't even remember where we left off. I think we did the spark plugs. So that didn't resolve our Misfire issue. The Misfire actually came back. So we got a couple other things we're gonna try out on this episode. Of course, we always keep affordability in mind. So we're gonna go ahead and address, maybe that coil pack might be the issue for cylinder 5. Maybe replacing that takes care of our issue and then we're good to go. Who knows? Wouldn't that be nice? So we're gonna try that and then see if that also helps the rough idle. The car has a very rough idle. Not like rough, like breaking up, but actually shaking quite a bit. So there's something to be addressed there for sure. So we'll look into that. Also noticed some coolant coming from the water pump. So that water pump needs to be replaced. We'll get into that too. And then the engine at the end of everything and just recently has started making this awful noise. Yeah, that kind of a noise. That is not a good noise. This engine should make one noise and it's a really awesome Hemi rumble. That's all it should do. That's the only noise I want to hear coming out of this thing. So we have to address that. We have to see what's going on. And now we're talking engine internal stuff. So spoiler alert, that is the course of action for this episode of Project Hemi Mag. So tune in. We'll start off with the easy stuff and then we'll get crazy and then we'll just get to the point where we start tearing down an engine. How about that? Anyway, let's have some fun with it, guys. Let's get in the garage and get some work done. Okay, so the Magnum SRT8 has been experiencing some hard starts when warm and some rough idling. So what I'm looking at is this guy right here. This is your cam angle sensor. Let's back it out just a little bit and you can see where it's located. Right next to your thermostat pretty much. Just go down right here. You can see the wiring harness leading to it. And it's that plug right there held in place by a single bolt, which I think is a 10mm. So we're gonna pop that out and replace it and hope it takes care of that hard start, shaky idle kind of scenario we're seeing. Here's what the actual sensor looks like. So pretty interesting. You can see the little metal clip there where the bolt goes through. I do like to use official OEM parts when it comes to replacing sensors. So here's the part number. Should be a pretty easy fix. Let's hope this takes care of it. The part doesn't come with an extra bolt, so you will be reusing that. Ooh, that old O-ring is on there pretty good. I don't want to break it. Give it some good. There we go. Here's our old sensor removed from the vehicle. Not sure if it's OEM or not. It kind of looks it, and I doubt someone replaced it on here, so this is probably the OEM one. Sounds pretty good to me. Started up perfectly. Also noticed that I kept losing a lot of coolant, so in the front of the vehicle here we do have the water pump area. Right here where the thermostat housing is, connects this whole area, is essentially the water pump that comes off. You can see some of the coolant residue right there on the bracket for the alternator. That's a pretty clear indicator where it's coming from, so it is coming right from the water pump all the way down, so we're gonna have to pull that water pump also, which isn't too bad. But the biggest concern is, of course, that engine noise we heard coming from right around cylinder number 5 where we were having the misfire. The plan is that we will do a compression test on the engine, see if all our cylinders are good. Kind of curious what we'll see around cylinder 5, and then pull the valve covers for a visual inspection, and then possibly after that, based on what we see, pulling the heads and seeing what work we need to get into. Boy, this Magnum SRT8 really just keeps me entertained, doesn't it? This was supposed to be a pretty quick turnaround on this project, but this is how they go sometimes. So let's do that compression test first. Okay, first things first, we're going to pull these little plastic covers off. That'll expose our coil packs and all that goodness. You can see here's the new coil pack I put on. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do before I do the compression test is disconnect each one of these coil packs on both sides of the engine. That way we don't have any chance of spark. They should still crank, should still create compression for us to do our test. Now what I want to do is test a good, or what I think is a good cylinder first, so we can jump on this one. This is number 5, this is the one we had to replace. We suspect this is probably going to be our problem child. This is where we're getting the misfire code, and you only have to really do one spark plug since it's 2 spark plug per cylinder. It's not like one plug hole is going to show different than the other one, so you really just need to do one. Don't worry, you're not doing 16 compression tests here, we're only going to do 8. So pick one from this one, then we'll test this one, see if there's any deviation or any delta between the 2 compression numbers, and then we'll test another possibly good one. Ultimately, we're going to do them all just to see the overall engine health, but that's how you're going to find out if you're down on compression. Alright, before I pull coil packs, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the ones on the other side of the engine too, just to make sure we're totally disconnected. Then we'll pull this coil pack off, pull one of the plugs, screw in the compression tester, give the car a couple starts, see where we're at. Looks like we got a 165 on that one. Well, ain't that something? 165. Compression is fine in cylinder 5. Yeah, this car is not making it easy to chase problems on. Well, time to troubleshoot some more. There's 165 compression. Alright, now we have access to the valve cover. You can choose to keep these on. It'll be a little bit of resistance when you pull it off, obviously, because they're still on the spark plugs. But pretty much you just got to work your way around. Looks like there's 10, and I think those are 8 millimeters. And then you should be able to just pull the valve cover right off. Now these ones are a little tricky because whoever ran the AC lines here is a wonderful person. So we'll go ahead, get to those with some probably flexible heads, some bending sockets, and reach down in there and get those out. And then we'll be able to pull that valve cover off and see what we're working with. I'm also a big fan of leaving the spark plugs in the holes. Whenever you remove a valve cover in general, you can see all this dirt and debris and crud around it. Why risk anything falling down? The spark plug wells, so just smarter to leave those in. Just a little extra peace of mind. Not a bad idea to blow the gunk out of here too first. Wear eye protection. All right, finally got all of those bolts off. Let's pull this off. I kind of broke it loose already, but I'll show you what I'm working with. Might have to pull these off because I don't have the clearance to come out that far, so let's just pull these two guys off. Nothing easy today. Time to pull this valve cover off and see what we're working with under here. Alright folks, I want to show you what we have. We've got the valve cover off here, which you can see, and I'm kind of inspecting along, you know, some of the issues could be a snapped spring, one of the valve springs could have broken, that would create a weird noise for sure and cause a definite misfire if the valves weren't opening, but you know what? Here's cylinder 5, the second one from the back. And I have inspected it, I've gone over everything, and it is so clean. This, to tell you the truth, the heads from this side look absolutely great. There's no metal filings, nothing weird, nothing is out of sorts. Everything looks really good. The oil looks really clean because we just obviously did that not too long ago. Man, no issues here. Of course, it's the other side that's super important. When we flip that head over and look at the valves, that's when we're going to see if there's valve issues. Then we'll be able to see the top of the piston, see if there's any issue there. But from this side here, boy, nothing looks out of whack at all. It just looks really clean. So next thing we got to do, guys, unfortunately, sorry about the lighting in the garage at night, is pull this intake manifold completely off. I'm going to have to pull some of the accessories off. I think we have to pull the power steering and some other things. We're doing the water pump anyway, so we'll be getting in there extra feisty on this one. See what it looks like on the other side. So this is probably as far as I'm going to go tonight, to tell you the truth. It's pretty late, pretty tired. So we got our direction. We still are on the hunt of what's causing that noise, what's causing our misfire. I have a feeling once we pull the head, we'll be in the know. I think it's going to reveal itself. I think we're going to see something with the valves. Maybe something fell inside the pistons. Who knows? We might be into this thing for some piston work. Boy, oh boy. That'll definitely be next time inside the Auto Obsessive Garage. Man, this Hemi Magnum. I really love this engine a ton, but man, we are chasing issues. More to come next week, guys. Thanks for tuning in.